know it's a ukulele, but that's the only thing I play. I wish I played piano or drums or the didgeridoo, but I only play the ukulele, so that's what I'm gonna do. And this is a little theme song for the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. Hello, everybody. That was a little bit of a theme tune. Very much in the spirit of what today's episode is going to be about. But welcome to the, let's everybody turn phones off. Cardinal sin of the theatre. Not that we're in a theatre. Anybody, keep your phones on. Do your thing. But hello and welcome to the Happiness Anonymous Share Show and to the opening ceremony of the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. I'm just going to raise this mic up over here. How are you all today? I'm very, very excited for this show. Anybody who follows me and the Happiness Anonymous project anyway will know that I'm very, very excited about events that have happened this week, that have happened in the past, and that are happening in the future. But this is the opening ceremony of Happiness Anonymous, and I very much wanted to follow on from a podcast I did yesterday with the Happiness Anonymous podcast, where it was all about GISHy, and it was all about whatever the hell that word means, which is all very much to do with what the Fringe is, very, very much to do with what GISH is. But first, before we do that, one of the great things about the Edinburgh Fringe is that it opens people up to such amazing creativity. It opens people up to such amazing opportunity. And here at the Happiness Anonymous Share Show, that's what I'm trying to do, is give people the opportunity to share their creative shares on this idea of happiness, just like you do in a support group where you give your response to a certain topic. The Happiness Anonymous Share Show allows everybody, including you, whoever you are, to go through and get involved and share your things. Hello, Kevin. How you doing? Kevin actually is one of the people who's going to be, I'm going to share what he shared with me in the next couple of weeks. I'm very, very excited. I've been very, very touched by everything that's been shared. So much so that also one of the things that the Fringe facilitates is here. It's mirrored. With the PBH Free Fringe, which has gone virtual this year, which is very, very excited. Very, very exciting. The PBH Free Fringe allows us to do this all for free. I don't have to pay hundreds of pounds to be able to do this. Clearly, I've not paid hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I've really grabbed the Fringe spirit in just whacking a background up. It's all relevant. I'll talk about that all in a second. But because this is free, one of the things that I really wanted to do is Happiness Anonymous is fundamentally about kindness. It's fundamentally about doing good in the universe and also taking care of our mental health, taking care of our brains. So for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be streaming pretty much every day as part of the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. And each of those weeks, every single week, I am going to be supporting a different charity. So this week, if I go over to there, this week we are going to be supporting Mind. It's the obvious choice, but in the description of this stream, wherever you are watching, there is a link to a donation button. If you have the means, then please do go donate. That goes straight to Mind charity. They are doing amazing work across the UK. And each week, that fundraising campaign is open until Sunday evening this week. And then on Monday morning, I'm going to change it around to another charity. And in the week, I'm going to be posting polls and taking suggestions from you guys at home as to who the next charity should be. And so instead of usually at the PBH Free Fringe, we stand at the back of the show, at the end of the show, when people are walking, we stand with a bucket so that people can drop dimes in there, drop whatever they mean, pay as they pay what they want. Instead of doing that, because this is just joyful for me, and I've gotten everything that I want from just seeing people's shares in a mushy point. What I'm doing is saying, if you can, please donate using Just Giving to Mind, and hopefully we're going to turn it into a competition and see which charity succeeds the most at the end of August. But hopefully we can create some positive change. Hello to everybody who's joined in the last few minutes. I've seen that you're all joining. This is very exciting. So because we now have people watching, let's move into what this episode's about. But before we do that, actually, if you are wanting to contribute to any shares, which I'm about to start sharing, then please, there is another link in the description of this. Anybody can share if you have this thought or an idea, even if you just want to rant on paper and you want me to read it out. Please be kind in that. Or if you are wanting to record yourself doing something or writing something, any kind of response that you have to happiness, take the moment to think about it, take the moment to enjoy it and create around it, even if it's just you taking photos and sending it through. So do send that. Links in the description. So one of the things that I spoke about in yesterday's podcast, which is kind of the basis of this episode, is this idea of GISH, is this idea of being GISHy. Now, what the hell does that mean? GISHy means that you are kind, you are unapologetically you, and you go and do things. And the last week has been GISH, and it got me thinking about Edinburgh, and it got me thinking about the one thing that I kind of miss, but also I'm very, very grateful that I'm not having to do, and it really struck me, is that I'm not having to do this. It's flyering. True Fringe style, the set starts to fall apart, middle of the show. So during the Fringe, usually when you're in Edinburgh, you have to go and flyer, which means you're carrying loads of stuff around in a backpack, and you have to go up to randomers on the street and start flyering and just tell them about your show and turn around to a stranger and say, hi, please come along to this thing that I really, really, really care about, and hope that they do come. And when they do, it creates this amazing sense of community, which to me had a lot of similarities between GISH. So I want to share some of the GISH items that we've done. I want to share and celebrate my team, because for the last 10 years I've been doing Edinburgh Fringe, and for the last 10 years I've also been doing GISH. And I've been doing it on the whole with the same people. And it makes me very, very excited, and it's brought a community. And I wanted to share some of the crazy things, principally because when you celebrate your talent, then you start to celebrate yourself. Ooh, that's the wrong one. But here's a share. So this is Josie. One of the things that GISH does in the idea of charity is that GISH encourages us to go and give blood. It encourages us to do a lot of things for the community and raise a lot of money for the community. And this is just something that I thought was really nice to share. But on the idea of talent, if you celebrate who you are and the talents that you've got, even if they're just quirky, especially if they're quirky, then that's when you start to celebrate yourself.
Rose made out of ice. Here we go.
One of the things GISH, which GISH is a scavenger hunt, happens internationally for anyone to take part in. And at the beginning of the week, it's a week-long event. A list drops of 300 at this year random things for you to do. And one of the items a couple of years ago was celebrate your team, celebrate the talents of your team and quirky talents. That was an original piece composed by Madison, who is playing the Doobly-Doos, and she has been my team captain, and I absolutely adore her. She helms this ship very, very well. One of the other things that GISH also inspires is this idea of preparation, and I think that's the same with Edinburgh. Is anybody who has survived the last week or two with anybody that is doing an Edinburgh Fringe show knows that you do a lot of preparation for it. Yeah, another GISH item.
You're gonna gish him, Rocky.
So that was an item where we had to recreate that scene from Rocky. Hopefully I have not been muted across all streaming things. This is a little bit of a test. Hopefully that you can hear me still. If you can't, shove it into the comments. If you can, please shove it into the comments as well, just to let me know that I have not just made all of the streaming sites mad at me. But that is something that is also quite fun. One of the things that GISH does is it really makes you get up, just like Edinburgh. It makes you do things, and it means that you have got some amazing little items. This is from an item from this year, and these are tickets also from Edinburgh from the last few years of me going. Actually, I think those are all 2019, and those different trains I had to get to Edinburgh, and these are all of the tickets. Not all of them, actually. I ran out of blue tag, but Edinburgh is fantastic, and it's one of the things that I love as well. And another share from GISH is I'm just very excited. How are you guys? Comment section. You're still here. Thanks, Kevin. And hopefully you can still hear me. That's fantastic. So one of the things, going back to that video that I just shared, which, by the way, the cat is called Samson. The cat is an unofficial member of my team and has been for 4 or 5 years. We're going to see some more Samson in a second because it's fantastic. And frankly, you know what? GISH gives community, so does Edinburgh. GISH mobilizes you and gets you to just get up and do things. If you were here at the beginning of the stream and you saw my opening countdown, that was very much done in GISH fashion. You have a time limit, you've got to get things done, and it's so empowering to get things done. And that was very much a response to me going, I really want to write a theme song, so I wrote a theme song. And then I really wanted a countdown, but I didn't have the time nor patience to do it through After Effects or anything, so I just thought, you know what, let's GISH it. And I'm quite proud of my little countdown sequence. But let's just go ahead for the last sort of 10 minutes of this episode and this stream. Let's go ahead and look at some of the other GISH items, because one of the things that they're meant to do is inspire joy. And joy, even if you don't know the context. I'll try and give you a little bit of context. So here is an amazing day where we were told we had to make a rainbow out of people near you who were taking part in this event. And now it's not a location-based event, so this involved reaching out to random people on an app. And all of these people, bar maybe 2 or 3, I'm still friends with, and this was taken 4 years ago. I'm there in an orange shirt. That was a 2-year-old's orange shirt. I was very proud that I could fit into it. But it's also sharing a message of love. I'm going to see if I can expand that a little bit. Maybe not. So, the next one. Sometimes you just gotta make a dress and a toga out of romaine leaves. That's a little bit of entertainment for everybody right there. This is not actually the item that I've become known for. I will do that at the end because I know that some of my GISH team members are here watching today, and they will all shout at me if I don't show the one item. There you go. Made it bigger for everybody. This image I always go back to. The item on the scavenger hunt list for GISH was a watermelon hat. And Madison amazingly went and made this perfect watermelon hat and even went so far as to take it to the supermarket. One of the things that I think we need to be aware of is pushing ourselves out there. And this seems like something that's very anxiety inducing because you're going into a very public space looking a bit weird. But look how beautiful she is. And frankly, nobody cares. Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk was founded on this idea that if you are weird enough or different enough, or in his example, messed up enough, nobody ever questions it. So if you are just you are going to be happier for it. And nobody's going to look at you weird. We always think so. So this is the item. It's one of my items. It gives me a lot of joy. It was in a bowl of cereal, recreate a movie scene that includes the ocean. So I parted the cereal waves. This is also a fun memory for me. I was living in a shared house at the time, and whilst making this, I was carving gelatinous milk that was previously my morning cereal the night before. I was sculpting little guys on a spoon. Whilst I was doing this, I had knitted eyelash extensions stuck to my eyes. I was covered in paint. I think I was wearing fairy wings as well, and I was covered in glitter as well. And this is when I met one of my new housemates. They were introduced to me in that state, which for me, perfect way to describe me, really. One of the things that GISH has also inspired with a lot of people is to go and volunteer. And this is Madison going to a dog shelter and offering to walk their dogs for an afternoon. One of the things that GISH very much celebrated this year as well is this this speaker called Zhao Jiang, who, if you go and look up 100 Days of Rejection, it's a TED Talk. It's also a theory. It's also a website. 100 Days of Rejection is based on this idea that Zhao Jiang went out and he realized that he was afraid of rejection. So he decided for 100 days, every day for 100 days, he would go and ask someone something ridiculous like, "Hi, can I have a burger refill?" Or, "Hi, can I have $100? Or, "Hello, stranger, can I play football in your yard for the next half an hour?" And he discovered that out of 100 days, 61 people said yes. And they were crazy, and he was actively trying to get a no. And I think a lot of us stop ourselves from doing anything because we're scared of rejection, and we're scared of things like this, and people, saying no. This image of Madison walking a dog that's at a shelter and going and playing with them in their walking yard comes from GISH and comes from her going to the local dog shelter and just saying, hey, can I play with your dogs and take a couple of pictures for the next half an hour? You'd think instinctively that they'd say no because they've got a duty of care, right? But part of that duty of care is also giving the dog something to do. And so they said yes. And I think if you're sitting there, especially anybody who doesn't have pets or has been affected by lockdown, if there's something that you want to do, even if it's just a case of going, hi, can I volunteer to help take care of your cats? Just go ask, because what's the worst that could happen? This is Samson. That's just joyous. This is Samson. Love. That is Teresa. I love this photo, not only because it says love, but it's also a lot of joy. And sometimes you've just got to go and grab your love and grab your joy and grab some balloons and celebrate it. Samson, again. GISH also has this a coffee table book that comes out every year that has some of the best submissions that they've ever seen. This is in one of them. This is also in the GISH Hall of Fame. You can see why. Samson is an amazing, amazing sport. You can see why he's an unofficial member of our team. This is Samson. This is also Samson in the same position, showing us exactly what he thought of having to be dressed up like a Mexican or a cowboy. There you go. This is a purse made out of avocado peels, which Madison sent to me. This is Madison's sister. This is something created by a lot of hot glue guns. So if you saw the video earlier with me doing push-ups, which by the way, not very good at, and moving a glue gun around. GISH is very, very much known for its glue guns and its use of glue guns. But I think this is a stunning, amazing photo. And it's definitely something to be proud of, is creating a handbag out of avocado peels. Because why not? Sometimes you've just got to fill an afternoon with something. Again, there's Madison with that. Now the task was go to a haunted house as a ghost and do normal activities. And this is a ghost playing with a dog. Because why not? And I know that the second I asked my GISH team, how would you like to contribute to the share show? Madison and Haley, they shared between them and me a video of Haley doing a weird dance as a ghost, because this is one of their favorite memories of GISH. This is this year. You can see the signage behind me. I love it so much. It's going to go in permanent positions on my wall here in my office. And the idea was create a MASH sign, like from the TV show MASH, and but do it for the locations of your team members. And I decided, being in London, and with the leader of GISH, the creator of it, Misha, being obsessed with the Queen, why not do it at Buckingham Palace? It's a notable location and much easier for people around the world to be able to find like how far away they are, rather than just some random address in the suburbs. But one of the things that I wanted to share this for is, when we decide to take our chosen family and we create something like this, I spent an afternoon with some cardboard and some Amazon boxes, painting and deciding, which color should go with each person, and selecting a photo that had to go with them, and creating these little signs. It reminded me how much I am loved, how many people I have in my life, and how much this is a little bit of a family. So if you're ever feeling lonely, it's one tip I can give. If you're ever feeling a little bit lonely, do something as weird and wonderful as this. You don't have to share it. You don't have to go stand outside Buckingham Palace. And you can just create something that reminds you of all of the people who support you and are crazy enough to follow you and join in on a crazy event that you do every year. That's fantastic. Another part of this photo as well is I was very, very nervous to take this photo. I was going to go stand with a stick that was extendable, like a truncheon that's legal, but it's very much an elaborate selfie stick. I was going to stick random brightly colored things to it. I was going to go do a big pose in front of the Queen was in. You can see at the top there, the flag is at full mast. There is also a little window just above my head where the curtains were cracked. So the Queen could have watched me do this, which is fantastic as an idea. But I was very, very nervous because there's a lot of police presence. And I was nervous about, am I going to be stopped? Am I going to be questioned? Am I going to be looked at weird? And I got very, very nervous, quite excited. But just after we took this photo, and there were only about 2-3 photos taken of this item, I then realized, that was it. Yeah, it was a little bit of an anticlimax. I was so proud and so happy for the photo, but it was a little bit of an anticlimax because I thought I've sat and wound myself up for days about doing this task and going out and doing it in front of Buckingham Palace. I've wound myself up. I've gotten so anxious about it. Nobody's looking at me. Nobody's thinking it's weird. Actually, one person looked at me and they smiled. And it really drove home this idea that we put the only thing that stops us is ourselves. And I wanted to share that because I thought that was something that was nice to discuss, is to try and, don't get in your own head about things. Just go do it and enjoy it and have fun. And this was one of the best days that I've had this whole year because I got to sit in the sun in front of Buckingham Palace with a backpack full of signs that said lots of things about the people I love. And I got to do it with somebody I love and take photos and bring a smile to that woman who was looking quite sullen, bring a smile to her face, even at just, what is that person doing? I also custom made Pez dispensers this year. Apparently you can't get Queen Pez dispensers, which is a big information to me. Next to her is, it's meant to be Misha Collins. That is actually a Mr. Bean bobblehead that I decapitated, shaved the nose down, and pulled the mole off of, and then made a hat, which Misha Collins, the leader of GISH, is known for wearing. The bobblehead of the Queen works, which gives me a lot of joy. I just really hope it's not treason to decapitate bobblehead dolls of the Queen. But if you ever want to custom make your Pez dispensers, they're pretty easy to pull apart and stick back together again. So there you go. I actually even have that right here. That gives me a lot of joy. Take a compliment or leave a compliment. If you work in any kind of front-facing place, I think this is a great idea. This was an item this year that Madison completed. And I think it's something that's very, very important for us to share the joy. If you've got extra joy, why not share it? And again, go back to that thing of 100 days of rejection. If you want to sit there and say, I think this should be part of what we do with a forward-facing thing, or even if it's just in your office, people sometimes just need a compliment, and sometimes they feel like they can give it. And this has brought a lot of smiles to people's faces. So if you really, really want to do this, please, I encourage you to do it. Send me photos. I'd love to see if any of this actually inspires people to do anything crazy and weird and kind. One of the items, this was sent through Angela, who is my teammate here in the UK. Woo! Because most of my team actually live in the States, which is fantastic. This was, we want to see the little army men that you get. We want to see them relaxing and at play. Angela spent the whole week trying to figure out how to get these painters' costumes green, because top lesson, they don't die. Ended up buying rollers and paint and covering it. These are sons and family members, and they went for a whole walk dressed as green men. And there in the middle is Ryan, her 8-year-old son, who inspires me every GISH because of his enthusiasm and absolute joy in GISH. And one day he's going to be a competitor that is worthy of all of the GISH merit. But it's sometimes you've just got to go and be completely weird. As you can see in the background, there is the jaunty walk. I believe that's with Matt. I would guess that's Matt, Angela's husband. And it's just quite joyful. You can see there's joy in people's faces. So if you just want to do something weird, sometimes you got to do it in order to spark some joy. This is a item this year. I've still got it on my arm. It's henna, but one day I might tattoo it to myself. The idea was it is an ambigram, which is something that when you read it one way, it says one thing. If you flip it upside down, it says another. But do something, create an ambigram of where one word is something that you struggle with, and one word is something that gives you peace. This, if anyone can see, this says chill, which is something I struggle with, and GISH, which is something that gives me peace for 51 weeks of the year. For 1 week, it gives me crazy, crazy amounts of joy and stress and not sleeping. Another fun thing, that is a ferret portrait made out of shells, which we don't craft enough. I don't think we craft enough. This is what GISH can do. This is an amazing, amazing thing. I think about this often. Sometimes we've got to meditate. Sometimes we've got to meditate with potatoes stacked up in like that. And Samson. I think what we'll do is we will leave it there on Samson. But before we do, I'm going to scroll all the way back through because I've managed to put it right at the beginning rather than right at the end. Because this is the Edinburgh Fringe show, and because at Edinburgh Fringe, especially with the PBH Free Fringe, you have amazing, amazing shows, and it pushes people out of their comfort zone, and it pushes people into weird and wonderful places. I'm going to go right back to the beginning. Hopefully I don't scroll right into it. Trying to remember where we came in. We'll go to there. I've left the most Edinburgh Fringe GISH item to the end. I have also, because it very much embodies my favorite part of the Fringe, which is you see the most random, risque, fantastic things ever. This is also my favorite item, and also how 3-4 weeks into a job, I was asked about GISH by the head of my company. And then I was asked what my favorite and most proud of item was. And I had to explain this. So now think about that when I explain that the item was, we have all seen a dominatrix. Now let's see a dominatrix. Yep. Thank you, everybody. That is something that exists of me on the internet. I really... Oh, Angela's actually watching. The funny walk in that photo of all of the green men. That was Jessica. I really, really encourage anybody to join GISH. It's great for charity. Speaking of charity, I'm going to throw up a little bit of a reminder once I figure out. I'm still getting to grips. There you go. Donate to Mind. It all goes to helping people and helping people that are great. Yeah, you know, it's Mind. Everybody knows Mind, especially if you're here in the UK. And one of the things I encourage, other than join GISH or do the Edinburgh Fringe, if you just want to, honestly, it is an application and an idea away from you. It is not a big pie in the sky thing, and most things are just that. It starts with a prompt or an idea, and then it's about you doing it and going and making a watermelon hat or dressing your cat up or bringing your own kind of joy. And this is an opening ceremony, very much a closing ceremony for me for GISH, but an opening ceremony for the Happiness Anonymous Share Show. If you want to share for the Share Show so that other people can see what you're doing as well, here you go. Send your shares to happinessanonymousshare@gmail.com or follow the link that's in the description of this stream. Very excited to see anything that you or the people that you love can share. And again, donate, send your submissions. be the best you that you possibly can be. The next show of the Happiness Anonymous Share Show will be on Wednesday. This coming Wednesday at 8 p.m. It is going to be a discussion between me and longtime friend and longtime devil's advocate, Joe Ronchka. He is part of the Theatre Bitch podcast that I do as well. He is a great, great friend of mine, and also somebody who I was very scared to ask, what is your approach to happiness for? Because Joe Ronchka is amazing, but my goodness, does he like just messing with you. So that's going to be a very, very interesting discussion. It's going to be very, very honest. I'm very much looking forward to it. And actually facing my own fear of going, okay, let's get one of the more honest people on this podcast and the more sort of complicated people on this podcast and on even on this show. And it's going to be great. And if you are watching live, then you can come into the comments and ask your questions and give your contributions as well. And it's going to be quite collaborative and quite nice, and a nice chance to sit and actually think about happiness and what the hell that means. Because Joe and I have very, very different interpretations of what that is and how to get there, which is going to be fantastic. But that is happening at 8 p.m. on Wednesday, wherever you are watching this, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been slightly self-indulgent, but that is what opening ceremonies are for. That's what ceremonies are for in the first place. And frankly, the whole point of it is you don't have to ask permission. You've just got to go and do it. So thank you, everybody. I will be also posting a lot of help if anybody needs resources for mental health. The whole point of Happiness Anonymous is that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Go search on Instagram or any of the social medias the hashtag GISH, GISH. Wow, my brain's melting. And you'll see lots of people are posting all of their weird and random things. You'll get lots of laughs, and be very, very inspired. But thank you, everybody. Donate to Mind. Have a great night and a great Tuesday. And I will see you on Wednesday with Joe.